Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Chainlink and its valuation against USD, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel. We're getting close to 100,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate everyone's support. Make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. One of the things we've argued with Link, since it was $1 to $2, right? Since it was $1 or so, was that it was too risky not to hold. And of course, when you see these types of capitulations against Bitcoin down, it leaves people wondering, well, how is that true when it's capitulating? But again, I use this risk metric. Again, it's not financial advice, but I use this to help identify the local top back in the summer. And it also, if you guys just go back 3 or 4 weeks, we put out a video when it was in this blue region before we rebounded back up and said, you know what? We've been in this region 2 times before, right? Twice before. And what happened when we were in that region twice before? Well, the last time was in the summer of 2018 and we bounced back. The time before that was in the end of 2017 and we immediately took off. So we knew that it doesn't necessarily have to immediately bounce, but if history is any indication, then historically this is a good time to buy. And now in hindsight, hindsight elucidates the truth very, very simplistically. Now it seems like, oh, so obvious, like Link at $8. Now it's 3 times that. But when you're in it, it's so hard. And that's why we say, just stick to the data. Don't stick to whatever news is trying to discredit anything. A lot of this stuff is just completely unbased, right? I mean, like, it's just completely useless a lot of times. And so what we say is stick with the data, and the data for Chainlink suggests that it's on a pretty strong run. I mean, how many coins are above their all-time highs from 2017? And more than that, how many of those coins that are above their all-time highs from 2017 are 10x above it against USD? How many? Link's one of them. There's not many, I can assure you. So Link remains to be a champ in the market. Okay? This is why I've always said it's too risky not to hold. When in the summer when Bitcoin was more or less just kind of going sideways, not really doing a whole lot, that was when Link was going up 10x. And everyone was excited about Link because, back then I was saying, well, this is why we hold Link, is because it improves your risk-adjusted returns, it improves your Sharpe ratio, your Sortino ratio. If you don't want to punish negative volatility, it improves all of this. Because when Bitcoin's just sitting still, this is when Link shines. And everyone loved it, right? But then you get to the other side of the equation where, what about when Bitcoin shines and Bitcoin's going up 4x? Well, then Link's not doing so well anymore. And then people who are all in on Link obviously can get frustrated because Link isn't doing anything. But this is why we say it's, a portfolio of both improves your risk-adjusted returns, because if Bitcoin's going up, there's a good chance Link is not. Okay, but also vice versa. If Link is skyrocketing, there's a good chance Bitcoin's not. So by owning both of them, you stand to continue to slowly gain if in fact there is a bull market, whether that means Bitcoin's moving or say, the rest of the altcoin market is moving. It certainly is reason. Now, it's not financial advice. Of course, you have to figure out if it's worth the risk to you. Obviously, Chainlink volatility is a lot higher than Bitcoin's. So you have to figure out if it's worth the risk, if it's worth those units of volatility. And all I can say for me is that it is worth the risk, and it continues to just outperform a lot of the market. Now, again, this just shows the risk going from 0 to 1. This is the primary y-axis of Link Bitcoin on a logarithmic scale. So far, so good. Business as usual, and it looks like maybe we're actually getting back on track. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to TradingView, and we're just going to look to see this. So I mean, one of the things we speculated on, this is probably the most dubious TradingView indicator I've made. Why is it dubious? Because it's an exponential fit. And exponential fits simply will not last forever, but we're going to follow them as long as it does last. And in the last video, one of the things I was saying was, well, I could refit this but I'm not going to. And it's not to say that I necessarily believe that Link will continue on in this exponential fit. It's just to say, you know what? Let's see if it can, right? We're not assuming it will, um, but let's give it a chance. Like, or let's give it a shot and see, in the same manner that we can have bubbles to the upside, where Link has bubbles against Bitcoin. Is it not okay for Bitcoin to have bubbles against Link occasionally? And so this is kind of the argument. Obviously, coming back into this region does not necessarily indicate that we're ultimately going to trend above this band, but it also doesn't mean we're not. And I also do have high expectations for Link, otherwise I would not hold it. So, in fact, Link has returned home to these bands. So welcome home, Link. We missed you. Don't ever venture out that far again. I say that jokingly, of course. I'm sure it will again at some point. But ultimately, these are the exponential fit bands that we have. The green more or less identifies where the fit is. This is sort of an undervaluation region. And then the red one, when it's above the red one, it really means that things are very heated and to proceed with extreme caution, right? Extreme caution. Now, if we take a look at Link USD, when I started filming this video, it was at $23, so I'm not really that surprised that it's at $24 now, but it's now at $24.22. So the question becomes, it has trended up significantly in a very short period of time, and because of that, right, it's going to generate a lot of outside interest because people are going to start looking in and saying, oh, it's trending up. Well, again, it's not financial advice. Am I buying Link at $24? No, I'm not. But I want it to trend much higher. It's all about managing my risk. I try to communicate this in the best way possible. For me, there's a difference between buying and then selling and then just kind of letting it run for a bit. So to some degree, a $24 Link could still be a bargain depending on your market outlook. Of course, in the short term, it's anyone's guess. But I do anticipate that Link will trend up throughout the market cycle. But again, you always have to be willing to ride the downside volatility, like we saw with a capitulation wick down to $8 a month ago, right? This was about a month ago that we saw, not even a month ago, that we saw it capitulate down to $8. It has gone up 3x in 1 month, right? Let me say that again. Link has gone up 3x from the capitulation wick in 1 month. So on the premium list that we talk about, intothecryptoverse.com, it was all about buying it when the Link USD risk was less than 0.5. And it more or less corresponded to this region. Okay, and we even covered it some on the channel. And then a lot of people were somewhat disenfranchised by this because it didn't give a ton of time to accumulate. But then Link was kind enough to give us this region, which was basically all below 0.5 risk, and it gave us a couple weeks to accumulate, between about $9 to $12 or so. So it was a pretty good accumulation range. Now we've shot up rather quickly, and we're looking at a $24 Link at this point. So things are certainly getting heated, but I hope we have much further to go. Again, it's not financial advice. We are going to follow this every step of the way. Again, if you look at, say, the Link Bitcoin risk, then it makes us believe that at least against Bitcoin, there could still be a lot of room to move, right? I mean, if you look historically when we've been at this level, that's we're only in this lower region down here. So theoretically, against Bitcoin, we could have a lot of room to grow. But again, remember, these can take months. It doesn't necessarily have to happen overnight. It could take months before we reach a new local top, before coming back down for a while, or it could be tomorrow, right? We simply do not know. So one of the things we can do is let's go ahead and put on our Link bull market support band. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that on. So you can see that Link did a really good job of holding it as support. We followed this every step of the way. It did a good job of holding its support band during the bull market. And it held it here at around $9, $8. It held it here at around $12, and then we've bounced off of it yet again. It's not really that surprising. I mean, it's simply just doing what it's been doing for the last 3 years. In terms of yes, it does have negative volatility sometimes, but the 90-day, the running 90-day ROI on Link is one of the best I've seen out of all the cryptocurrencies I've looked at. If you look at Link Bitcoin, again, we showed that we have in fact returned home, right? And we've moved back up into this band. Hopefully we're able to, to continue back up and continue to navigate upwards. And then if you look at our Link Ethereum valuation and the bull market support band on Link Ether, we're still actually well below it. And we can also put on the bull market support for Link Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and do that. These are not necessarily as important, but you can see that Link, in terms of its Link Bitcoin valuation, has been above this band for most of its life, and it was only recently that it dropped below. So keep an eye out, because right now we're right in the middle of it. In order to get above it in the short term, we need to see this go to around 77,000 satoshis or so. So we're still a little bit of ways. If we were to take a measured move from the current valuation to get above it, it might correspond to another 5 or 6% move against Bitcoin. In other news, Link has flipped Litecoin. Not that surprising. If you guys follow the channel, we say, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and DOT are what I would like to see in the top 5. Been saying it a long time. It looks like it might actually be happening. In fact, the only thing that needs to happen at this point is that Link and ADA need to flip XRP, because we don't consider stable coins as part of the top 5. So the top 5 right now is Bitcoin, Ethereum, DOT, XRP, and Cardano. So as always, Link will remain, it will move based on Bitcoin or lack thereof, right? If Bitcoin can stay stable at 33K in that region, then I think Link will continue to perform well. If Bitcoin blasts off, then Link's probably going to pull back some, if at least against Bitcoin. And then if Bitcoin capitulates and goes back down into the into the 20K region, then again, most likely Link will come back down as well. So the best thing for Link, in my opinion right now, is if, again, as we always say, if Bitcoin can just chill out, right? Just put it in the corner, tell it to sit or something, and let Link run for a bit. Because, this is a pretty nice move off the Bitcoin, or the Link Bitcoin. This is Link USD, actually, the Link USD support band. A pretty nice move off of it. From the support band, when we last hit it on the candle, we're already up a modest 100%. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully this video has been informative. Of course, we only looked at one custom chart. If you guys want to see all the other custom charts we've looked at with Link before, go check out my last video on Link that I put out a couple weeks ago or so. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Let's go for 100,000 subscribers. I'm happy to see Link pushing above $24 again. Maybe we'll see it move into the top 5 soon. If you guys like the content, subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Also, we have the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. If you're looking for exclusive content, we have a ton of that there. We also have a lifetime deal that's ending in about 10 days that you can find a link to that in the description below. That'll wrap it up for the video. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.